Hi, and welcome back. This is part two of a two-part video that we're creating. The higher level use case that we are looking at here is an end user who is able to place a request via the employee self-service portal and have that request fulfilled automatically by an automated fulfillment mechanism. In this case, there was an integration between HP Service Anywhere and HP Operations Orchestration. The request intake and the request task planning was all performed by Service Anywhere, and Service Anywhere proactively reached out to HP Operations Orchestration to actually perform the technical delivery of the request. In this case, it was adding of a record to DNS, and HPOO added that record to DNS and wrote information back to Service Anywhere in the request so that the end user could confirm that their DNS entry was added correctly. So that's start to finish from an end user perspective. In this video, in this part two of the video, we're going to be taking a look at some of the back-end configuration of Service Anywhere that was put in place in order to facilitate that. And specifically, we'll be looking at our service catalog offering and the predefined task plan that was there that helped facilitate that. So from my mega menu, I'm going to go to Service Catalog. And from Service Catalog Management, I'm going to go over to Offerings, and I'm going to take a look at my Service Catalog offering for Add to DNS. This was the offering that was selected by our end user when they were placing the request, and this is the back-end configuration of that offering. As this pulls up, we can see that there is a display label of Add to DNS. There's a description of Add to DNS as well. It was in the Service GLG demo automation, which is exactly what we're looking for. It was a service offering and a slew of other information. From our user options tab, we can see that these were the options that were made available for entry by the user. If you recall, we had to enter our domain, our host name, and our IP address. And then this piece, the task plan, really is the brains behind the operation. So what we have here is a single task, and this task is configured with a business rule, and that business rule is configured to execute an HP Operations Orchestration flow. And the way that this works is we use a specific endpoint, in this case our UAT iteration of HPOO, and we're going to run a HPOO flow called GLG saw add DNS record, and then it will pass a whole bunch of parameters. You can see some parameters as well as recording our output to a record field. That's the guts of it. At the end of the day, what I will do is add an additional task here. I won't actually save this by the time we're done, but I'll add an additional task just to show how easy this is. Once you have the integration set up between Service Anywhere and HPOO, how easy it is to leverage it in these task plans. So I'm going to merely add an automated task. I'm going to call this a demonstration task, because we won't actually save this, so we're just populating some information here. Copy, paste. And we're going to add a business rule to this, and we're going to set the rule there. And we can take a number of actions. Remember, this is an automatic task that's going to be executed by Service Anywhere. So, of course, there's going to be lots of different actions. We can add comments. We can create records. We can create records and relationships. We can do lots of different things. But down here under Integration Actions, we're going to execute an HP Operations Orchestration flow. So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to click OK. And here we get our business rule. Now we need to fill out our business rule. So in our case, we're going to use an HPOO endpoint. So I'm going to select that. And my endpoints are going to be populated here. And we have one HPOO endpoint called SLC-VU HPOO. That's what we'll use. Now we need to select the OO run flow, okay, or the flow over in HP Operations Orchestration. Now, there has been some work put in behind each of these flows over in OO in order to make them work, in order to make them function. But once that's done and they're made available to Service Anywhere, they're made available. So if we do a quick search here, we're going to just do a search for GLG to show the vast search mechanism that is here. So this is all of the flows from HPOO that contain the keyword GLG. GLG in this case stands, it's short acronym for Greenlight Group. Here we can see that there are a number of flows anywhere from vCenter server deploys to topology provisioning of servers to initiating of request approvals, as well as lots of different things. The particular one that we're going to add to this is we're going to do GLG saw, and I believe it's called remove from DNS is what we're going to add. So we're going to remove DNS entry. Now, upon selecting remove DNS entry, we can see that there's a unique identifier from the HPOO flow. We can see the exact location of it over in HPOO. And then we can also start to understand the inputs or the parameters that will need to be passed to this HPOO flow. We're going to choose this and we're going to hit OK. So now we're going to use SLCVU and to run this particular flow, and we need to provide it some flow parameters. So if we drill into those flow parameters, we can see that those parameters get passed through, and we can provide input. Now, input to these parameters can either be a static input or it can be a functional input or a dynamic input using the Service Anywhere expression language. So if we wanted to, say, pass the environment as the description of the request, we could do so with an expression like that. In our case, we're just going to leave everything static just to show from a demonstration perspective. So we're going to make a static value here of dev.glg.lcl, and we're always going to provide the static value of 10.10.13.203 and our host name demo.dev.glg.lcl. So you can obviously put together these functions, if you will, in order to provide the data in a dynamic fashion, or you can provide static values or some combination thereof. In this case, just for demonstration, we're going to show our static values, and then we're going to click OK. And quite literally, it is that simple in order to add a task into a task plan, and that really is the integration in an everyday use case and how it's utilized from a Service Anywhere perspective over to HPOO. So now we can take this task plan and we can execute the request against HPOO, and everything will function great, great, and wonderful. We provide a simple end user interface out there for the end users who are already going to our IT employee self-service portal that is front-ended by Service Anywhere. And our back-end fulfillment has been automated, alleviating that stress off of our IT organization in order to provide automated fulfillment of the request. Now, these task plans and the potential here really is endless. These task plans can be associated to requests, they can be associated to incidents, they can be associated to change orders, they can be associated to problems. There's a number of different places and different ways that these task plans can be utilized, really showing the power of the integration between Service Anywhere and HPOO. The possibilities really are endless. With that, I'll wrap up this two-part video series. Again, part one was adding of the request and requesting the actual DNS entry get made by the end user. And this part two, was the back-end administration, just a high-level overview of what that looks like in Service Anywhere.